Hi, I'm Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. Well, it's going to be tax time soon again, and I'm glad to have an individual from the Coalition for the VITA program, and we had her here last year. Ruby, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk about this important program. And tell me a little bit about yourself and about the involvement with this program.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the invite again. VITA season's here again.
Okay.
And Ruby Alvarez, I'm with GECU, and we lead the coalition. So we have several partners throughout our city, and what we do is we help our community to prepare their tax returns at no cost.
Right.
Which the key to this is our volunteers. So
Right.
it's a volunteer.
And it's the VITA program, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And it's a program that's been around for a while, and it's run by the IRS, right?
Yes. So we work together with the IRS, but honestly, like I mentioned before, our volunteers are key to this.
Right.
So we all come together to help our community.
Well, great. And let's talk about how do we get these volunteers and how do we get them involved? And let's talk a little bit about the training because pretty soon it's coming up, correct?
Yes, the training is coming up, and there are several ways to get trained. We offer the training at GECU, so our first training will be the first week of December. It is a 15-hour training that is required by the IRS, and the test is administered by the IRS. And the great thing about it is that most of our volunteers feel very confident after completing the training to prepare these taxes.
And do you have a lot of repeat volunteers that volunteer year after year after year?
Absolutely. We have several volunteers, and we're so grateful for them. And they're so excited to start our new season, and we're very grateful for them coming back. And we also always look for new ones because it is so fulfilling to help our community.
Well, we'll be putting up a schedule with the dates and the location, and most of them are being held at your headquarters here on Airway, correct?
Yes, they are.
And what if I can't make these live sessions? Is there another way to get training?
Yes, and there are several options. We have the training in December, that we have some more in January. Okay. If you prefer to do it online, that's also an option. And we have a link on our website, freetaxeselpaso.org.
Okay.
After you do the training online, if you still have questions, we have an open lab at our location on Viscount.
Wow, that's great. And so all of this tax knowledge that you're getting, and you do basically basic tax returns. So to what level do the volunteers go into preparing tax returns? There's schedule, the very easy one, the easy, and then there's the other schedule, the 1040A and the 1040. Do they get acquainted with all of those?
We have a basic training, and then we have an advanced training. Okay. So if we have someone that's really not knowledgeable about tax returns, we recommend the basic training, and then we have an advanced training. So it just depends on what our volunteers want to do.
Right.
And so there are most of them are very basic tax returns.
Right. Okay, so and I also saw under the schedule that you have a greeter orientation. What is that all about?
So our greeter orientation is for someone that just wants to get familiar with the program, doesn't want to prepare tax returns yet, but can help us greet, fill out intake forms. We still need volunteers to help us with our lines, with different things that can be done, and they get acquainted with the program, and most of the time those volunteers start with a tax preparation the next year.
So it's like they get acquainted with the program, and then maybe they might take a basic tax class, and then maybe next year they could go into the advanced level, correct?
Right.
And let's talk about your success with this program. How many returns did you more or less prepare last year, the organization?
So last year our coalition with our partners prepared 7,200 returns.
Wow.
And so we were able to help 7,200 families here in El Paso.
And that's great, because this is a program that's free of charge to the El Paso community. Of course, they have to fall under certain guidelines, but when we're even talking about a 1040EZ, I've seen a lot of tax preparation firms charge anywhere between $100, $200, and then they might add on some products on there, and before you know it, a lot of that refund is gone.
Yes, definitely, and we love serving our community. It's absolutely free, and what's great about this is that our volunteers make this happen.
Well, that's great, and we're always in need of volunteers that will help out with this program, but not only that, you're also getting educated on IRS tax law, and that's great because you're helping the community, but you're also helping yourself by becoming knowledgeable on tax law.
Yes, definitely. We highly recommend it. There's a lot of people that want to get experience with
Right.
helping people face to face, and you also become knowledgeable for yourself, so
Right.
that you know what you need to look for yourself.
And not only that, especially with El Paso Community College and some of the local area high schools and with UTEP, a lot of these students are looking for some sort of opportunity to put what they're learning in school into practice, and this is a great way for them to do some volunteer hours and sometimes even fulfill a requirement for a class such as an internship or a co-op program.
Definitely, and we have many students that help us out. Just to name two of our partners, we have Del Valle High School and UTEP students
Right.
that are getting certified and actually getting to practice what they're learning.
Great, great. Well, now let's go into the VITA program. So you're doing the training, so you can have these individuals ready when tax season starts. And when does your VITA program actually start? When do you start serving the public?
So our VITA program starts the last week of January 27th. We kick off at our Viscount location,
Right.
and most of our other sites start the first week of February.
Okay. And till what date does it run?
So it runs through April 15th, and our schedules will be on freetaxeselpaso.org, so
Right.
you can know exactly what site and what day you need to be there.
And you have sites all over the city?
Yes, we do.
Or all over the county?
We have them all over the city, yes.
Okay, okay. And where are most of these locations at?
It's-
Just give me an idea.
So what we try to do is we try to serve our city, and so we have some west side locations, we have some far east,
Right.
central. For example, just to name a few, we have UTEP.
Right.
GECU has 3 locations this year. And, on the far east, we have Del Valle High School that's serving their community.
Right. And is there also some like at libraries or community centers?
We have some community centers, yes. We don't have any libraries, but we
Right.
have some community centers.
Okay, great. And like you mentioned, all of this information is available at freetaxeselpaso.org, a pretty easy website to remember. So who does the VITA program target? Because I know there's some guidelines.
Yes, there are guidelines, and we target our low income to moderate income families.
Right.
And so if you want to get your taxes prepared face to face, it's a limit of $54,000.
Okay.
And if you want to do it online for free, it's $62,000 or under.
Oh, so an individual can go up online and do it?
Yes, and our
by
website.
themselves
as-
through your website?
Right.
Okay, so that's if somebody feels comfortable preparing taxes themselves, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so the GECU, what is your involvement? I know you're part of a coalition, and you mentioned that there's some partners that work with you. And how many partners are there, and can you mention some of them?
Yeah, and so we have several partners throughout our city. We are the lead for the coalition, so what we do is we're committed to providing sites, volunteers,
Right.
and our department is making sure that we have all the training available, that our sites are up and running, the IT infrastructure is in place, and we have several partners throughout the city. I would hate to leave some out,
Right.
but we do have some, like UTEP, and so the IRS is a big partner
Sure.
because they make sure that we're following everything that we need to do. And we have several districts in the city that are partners with us. We have the YMCA
Okay.
that works with us, and that's one of our Northeast locations.
Well, that's great. And so, is this open to, and as long as you meet the guidelines, to anybody living within the city? So I don't have to be a member of GECU, correct?
Correct. You don't have to be a member of GCU as long as you meet the income guidelines.
Okay. And with this program, do I have to wait for my check to come through the mail, or do you handle direct deposit so I could get it a little bit faster?
Oh, no, definitely. We offer the direct deposit option.
Okay, well, great. And so let's talk about, if I'm a taxpayer that's going to come into one of the VITA sites, what do I need to bring so that way we can make the process a little bit smoother?
So we recommend that the taxpayer brings all information pertaining to them and anybody that's going to be on their tax return.
Right.
And so ID, Social Security cards are very important. And a list of all the documents are on our website as well.
Okay, so it's important that the individuals come prepared. By the way, is the website also in Spanish for maybe somebody that might not be fluent in English?
And we do have the document in Spanish where it lists the documents that they
great.
need to bring.
Okay, because the better you come prepared, hopefully the quicker your return will be processed, and you'll get the refund even quicker.
And you know what? That is a very good point, because a lot of people do forget some documents, and unfortunately, we do need all the documents with them.
You know, and sometimes it's just simple things. You might have written a social security number down wrong, or even a date of birth wrong, or even a name. You know, you might have left off a letter. So it's important to be prepared and come with that appropriate list, and making sure that the names, the date of births, and the social security numbers are they're written properly and we can read them, correct?
And it's very important for the kids to bring the social security cards with
Right.
them, and husband and wife coming together, they're filing together. So it's very important that the documentation.
Yeah, because the name's got to match what's on the Social
Exactly.
Security card. And sometimes even the Social Security Administration has a misspelling. We have to enter it in that
Exactly.
way on the tax return. So sometimes we don't even know. So it's best that they bring the actual
It is,
card.
it is.
Okay, great. Well, we'll come back on the second half, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the credits that are available through this VITA program, and we'll come back and talk more about taxes on the second half of Making Sense. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense, and we're talking here with Ruby with the coalition, and one of the big programs that you have is the VITA program, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. In the first half, we were talking a little bit about the training, and then we went on to talking about a little bit about the program. So let's continue with that. You know, we are a border community, and a lot of these individuals that you're serving are not fluent in English. So do you have plenty of volunteers that can offer assistance in Spanish?
Oh yes, definitely. All of our sites have preparers that speak Spanish.
Okay, and so one of the things that, you know, and I had been involved with several VITA sites in the past, but one of the things that always happens is that you've got a long line, and sometimes people don't show up early. So what do we recommend? I know that it's first come, first served, and you only have so many volunteers to serve so many taxpayers during a certain period of time.
And yes, we do have long lines, and usually it's the first 2 weeks of February
Right.
that we have longer lines. So we do recommend that if you do want to come in the beginning, which is the first 2 weeks of February, that you do get there early.
Right.
And we do have some sites that are open all day, so those are probably a little bit, you know, don't have as long lines as the ones in the evenings or on Saturdays.
Right.
And once our rush passes, you know, by mid-February, we should be pretty good at all of our sites.
All right. Yeah. You know, and one of the reasons they all show up early is because they want that refund
Right.
quicker, because they know they're going to be eligible for a refund. And so a lot of these tax individuals that you see, a lot of them are eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC. And let's talk a little bit about that credit.
Right, and the earned income tax credit, many people are not familiar that they are eligible for this credit, and it's a federal tax credit for low and moderate income community members. So
Right.
it's very important that, you know, if you're not aware if you qualify for that, that's what we're here for, to help you out and to see if that's a credit that you're eligible for.
And this usually applies to somebody that has you know, certain income levels and has qualifying dependents, right, like children, that they can claim on their tax return, correct?
Yes, and they also can need to meet other requirements and file a tax return even if they don't owe.
Right.
A lot of people think that they don't need to file one, so that's why it's
Yeah,
important.
because this is a refundable credit, so that
Right.
means even if you don't owe taxes, you can get that credit back.
Yes, and a lot of times this money's left, and it's left on the table, and so we want to make sure that everybody gets what
Right.
what they deserve.
Well, when I was out in practice and doing tax returns, this was, and it still is. It's one of those tax credits that is looked very closely by the IRS because in the past there has been, and there still is, quite a bit of fraud involved in people, I guess, taking advantage of this credit and maybe doing some falsification with their dependents or their status, correct?
Yes, and our preparers are trained, and we hope that our community is just, prepared, and when they come with their tax return information, that they bring the information of their dependents that they do have.
Okay, and so let me talk a little bit about that. Is the preparer from the VITA site? So let's say that somebody comes in with some wrong information or anything like that, and we try and do the best to prepare that return accurately and have good faith in the individual that's giving us the information. Are they held responsible for if there's an error or they do something wrong or they fail to pick maybe some falsely given information?
And our tax preparers are trained to do everything in good faith.
Right.
And if they take the information that was given to them and they prepare it in what their knowledge was, it comes back to the taxpayer.
Okay, so there's no liability
Right.
on the tax preparer.
Right, because they took the information that was given to them.
And not only that, the IRS is involved in this, and they do come and do quality reviews, correct?
Yes, they do quality reviews at all our sites, and they are a great support to us. So they're there to answer any questions we may have.
And are most of your returns, are they being filed electronically, or can I get my return done and then I can mail it off?
90% of them are electronically, but the
Right.
option is there if they want to mail it.
And the nice thing about it being done electronically is, depending on how fast the IRS is processing the returns, is you can see if there's any errors or there's mismatches, correct?
Yes, definitely, and it gets checked, and so if we do see that, we'll call the tax preparer the next day to make sure that we get it fixed.
That they come back
Right.
and provide the adequate information. Okay, and so let's talk about, so we talked about the earned income credit, and why is it that you're trying to make such a big push on taxpayers to be informed on that?
And we just want to make sure that our community is informed on, some of the earned credit that they deserve. And we want to make sure that they get, sometimes they're not aware of, this earned income tax credit. So they think, I didn't make enough money, so maybe I don't need to file a tax return. So we want to make sure that they understand that they may be eligible for this.
Right. And do you help if for example, if let's say that I was not aware that I was eligible for the earned income credit and I found out, but I already filed my taxes for last year, do you go back? Can the VITA program provide assistance for me to do an amended return?
We do provide that. It's not at all sites, but at
Right.
our community development site at GECU, we do take a 3-year look back to make sure that you got the credit that you needed to get.
Okay, great. And so, and sometimes let's just talk a little bit about this. As people are getting their taxes done, sometimes they come into a big surprise because of Obamacare, and especially if they're not properly covered or they're not insured, they're getting penalized, and some of these penalties are going up every year, and that affects their refund, correct?
Yes, it does. So if you do have insurance, and it's very important that you bring that document
Right.
to show that you did have it.
Or if you were given a waiver, correct?
Exactly.
It's very important that you bring that.
We do need to see that, and
Right.
so that you don't get that penalty.
So that's an additional document
Yes.
that individuals need to bring, and something that has been in the past
Couple
of years, but it's real important.
It is.
Okay, so so let's talk about we talked about going online and preparing our taxes, and so is it pretty simple to do my taxes online if I go through through your website?
It is pretty simple, and it takes you step by step. And it, you know, if you have your W-2 in front of you, and most of the time it's pretty simple. But again, that's why we have our face-to-face sites, because a lot of people prefer that we answer some of the questions.
So what if I started online and I'm stuck? Can I go into one of your locations and they can help me finish it off?
Yes, they can. They can help you finish it off, or you know, you can call us throughout the day, and we'll be able to help you with that.
Okay, well, great. So, so this is a great program for the community, and it saves taxpayers that qualify under your guidelines a lot of money, because, like I said, a lot of these tax returns, people wind up spending over $200 or more if they go through a tax preparation service.
And you're right, and it's money that they shouldn't spend, and it's really amazing to see our community coming together, you know, to volunteer to help others.
And hopefully you'll get plenty of volunteers that are watching this show, and hopefully, you know, we can surpass the number of returns that you prepared last year.
That's our goal.
That's good. Now, an individual gets their taxes, and you mentioned, other than the headquarters on Airway, that you have a community development building on Viscount. And tell me a little bit about that, because now, what do I do with this refund? And sometimes we spend it on unnecessary things, and there's a better way to make use of our money. So tell us a little bit about what GCU does to educate the community.
And you know, we have a community development, which we're very proud of, and our team is dedicated to help our community with financial education.
Okay.
So whether it's understanding your credit, how to build a budget, how do I buy my first home, how do I buy my first car, and so our team is dedicated to help the community with those types of things. And again, it's open to our community, not just our GCU members.
Right. And to take a listing or take a look at a listing of all the upcoming seminars or classes, they just go to the GCU website, gcu.com, correct?
Yes, they can go to gcu.com. There is a listing of all our upcoming classes, and we are also offering classes throughout our city. So if there are communities, schools, or other organizations that prefer that we go to them, we also do that as well.
Oh, wow. So you also go out to the community, and have you had a lot of success with that, going to the community instead of them coming to the development center?
And we have had very huge success with our schools, with our community centers, and we have gone to educate on how to build a credit, how to build a budget. A lot of people are interested, how do I buy my first home?
Right.
And so we provide a lot of education on that.
And this is important because, and that's one of the reasons that I started doing this show, is to educate not just college students, but the community at large about different financial education topics. You know, a lot of them that you were talking about, including identity theft and all of that. But let's talk about another program that GCU has. You know, a lot of individuals are stuck in this vicious cycle of predatory lending. You know, they go get title loans, or they go to these high interest loan places, and they get this $1,000 or a $1,500 loan with almost incredible rate of interest, correct?
Yes, that's very true. And GCU does have a product, and it's an alternative to payday lending. It's a fast cash loan.
Right.
And what's great about that is that we don't just look at, you know, you need to get a fast cash loan, but we look at what other alternatives do we have for you.
Right.
And so we do have that product available at our branches and online as well. And what's great about that is if you don't know what your credit looks like, or if you don't know if you're going to qualify, we also have our GSU community development team that can help you with that as well.
Oh, great. And so you know, this is a relatively new program. Have you seen a lot of success with it, and trying to steer people away from, you know, payday loans and title loans and all of this?
And we've had this for several years, our fast cash loan, and we've seen success with it. A lot of people have found that they get this loan, and then their credit starts improving, and they're able to get a car loan at a lower rate.
That's great, because, you know, I've known several people who just get into this vicious cycle, and they just keep refinancing that loan on top of the interest that they owe, and they never get out of it.
That's very true, and I think it's very important I always tell people, when you make a list of your bills, you need to pay yourself first, and that
Right.
comes with saving.
That's correct.
And so I think it's very important if we start coaching you and teaching you on, you know, how to pay less interest, and also saving for those situations.
That's great. And you mentioned, on how do I buy my first house? And I know that depending on what programs you're going through or what you're applying, is that if you attend some homeowner workshops or first-time homeowner workshops, you get a certificate that can help you with down payment assistance or some financing options, correct?
Yes, definitely. And we do offer those every month. We offer at least 3. And so if you go to our website at gecu.com, you can see our classes, and we do provide that certificate.
And I hear, we were talking about this, that those fill up, correct?
They do fill up, but there's always availability, and they're highly attended because a lot of people have seen the benefit, and there are many down payment assistance programs that require that certificate.
Wow. So many free resources out there in our El Paso community for us to become more financially educated and maybe put a little bit more money into our pocket. And well, Ruby, that's one of the reasons I started this show, is to bring a little bit of financial literacy and education to not just the college students, but also to the viewing public. And so let's recap a little bit about what we talked about. Definitely the first thing we want to be aware of is the training, and getting volunteers trained and up and ready for the upcoming tax season. And then the second thing is being aware of the VITA program and all the different sites that you're going to be offering. And we were talking a little bit about, I think AARP also offers some sites, correct?
Yes, they do, and they will be actually on our website as well.
Right.
And so all of the sites will be at the
So even the AARP websites.
We will put them on there.
Oh, well, that's a great resource. And then we also talked about all the financial education that GCU provides, and as a free service to the El Paso community, and I think that's great. And I hope we can continue our partnership here with El Paso Community College and GCU. I know that there's been talks of hopefully maybe having a branch down here at the Valle Verde campus, and hopefully provide our students a little bit more exposure to real world business.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come down and talk about these important issues. And not only that, I'd like to remind the viewing public that all of our shows, not just my shows, but all the El Paso Community College TV shows are available on YouTube channel. Well, thank you very much, Ruby, for coming by and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk about these great programs. And happy holidays, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Making Sense. Thank you and goodbye.